Hi, this is Kevin Fitzpatrick from the Cnesta Group. With all the craziness going on in the world today, it's affecting some of our clients and candidates. And how do we move forward? How do we make a decision? What's next? And one of the things that really is coming to mind, quite frankly, when things get a little crazy, what do you do other than trust your gut? And as an example, when you're looking at making a job change, deciding whether or not you're going to add to your leadership team or a key employee within your organization, and you're looking at your revenue and the ebbs and flows, sometimes you just have to trust your gut. I mean, in reality is if you're an entrepreneur in particular or a business leader, it's trusting that gut that really has gotten you to where you are today. One of the tools we use that is very intrinsic to doing that well is frankly the Kolbe Index. The Kolbe Index is a tool that focuses on your cognitive mind. And that is, how do we take that finite amount of mental energy we have, and how does that manifest itself in our innate strengths? In other words, what we will and will not do, what our instincts or our gut will tell us to do going forward. It's not our behavior. It's not how we're going to do things. It's not our EQ. It's not any of those affective measures. And of course, it's not cognitive. It focuses on the cognitive mind. All too often, we find ourselves in a situation where something's thrown at us and you look at it and say, okay, WTF, where did this come from? And sometimes you just have to go with the flow and say, you know what? I don't know the answer. I may not be the smartest guy in the room, but I've got to figure it out because I got to move on. So I have to trust my gut. And if we look at the Kolbe Index, and I've become a very huge subscriber to that, because when I got my first Kolbe profile about 5 years ago, roughly, I didn't like the questions. I didn't necessarily read the results completely. When I did get back and read the results, it actually explained my natural instincts weren't to do it because I wanted to get right to the bottom line and move on. But it really came down and really drove home for me that you need to trust your gut. You need to really embrace how you're hardwired, what makes you you, regardless of the environment around you, regardless of the various, sometimes paradoxes are thrown in front of you, and you find yourself in that WTF situation. And then you turn around and you say, all right, as one of my clients said to me this morning, he said, I want someone who can just, and I'll clean this up a little bit, get stuff done. And how do I do that? And that's by hiring the right talent. But in this client's particular case, where he was vacillating, what do I do? Do I spend the money? How do I move? I said, just go with your gut. And in the Kolbe Index, there are 5 rules for trusting your gut. And at first blush, they sound a little crazy, for want of a better term. And the first is act before you think. Now, who would ever say act before you think? But it really means don't allow overthinking a situation to stop you from following your instincts. Remember, our instincts are what we will and will not do. What we will and will not do. The second is to self-provoke. Don't wait for others to take action. Take that initiative yourself. If you step back and think about it, what you do in your business or even in your personal life that makes you different from everyone else is because you did self-provoke. You did self-provoke to make that leap into a leadership role and an entrepreneurship role, or even into a new personal relationship. Don't wait for other people to take the initiative. Take it yourself and commit, but to very little, meaning evaluate what truly deserves your best effort. Stop wasting energy on things that are out of your control. Stop trying to fix things that you cannot fix. Stop losing sleep. Because a good friend of mine came to me yesterday when I was in Delaware, and he said, I can't sleep. I can't do anything. I lost X amount of money from my portfolio. And I said, okay, look at the bright side. At least you have it to lose. The guy down the street may not be able to buy a loaf of bread. So look at it and evaluate the things that are in your control and then decide what you want to do about it. That's trusting your gut. Be obstinate, in overcoming obstacles. persevere, act with determination, and to accomplish what your purpose is. Not anyone else's, yours. And when all that is said, do nothing when nothing works. If we spend all of our time trying to figure out what is the right answer, do we have enough facts? Geez, I'm not ready to pull the trigger. Step back, do nothing when nothing works. Sometimes it's okay to step back and recharge your mental energy so that when you do move forward and you do trust your gut, you can make the difference in not only for yourself, but for your family, for your employees, for your friends, and for those that may come to you for advice and are facing the same dilemma that we face every day in this crazy world. With everything happening, you can get absorbed and go down the rabbit hole. I know I've done it. And say, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And at the end of the day, I'm not in a position to change a lot of that is affecting me on a day-to-day basis. But what I can change, if I go with my gut, I can make a positive difference and be prepared for what's coming next and come out the other end stronger, better, with a more positive focus and make the difference not only for myself, but for everyone around me, in particular, those that depend on you. So again, trust your gut. That will make the difference. Trying to figure the other stuff out when you're hit with a WTF scenario, it's WTF for a reason. You can't control it. Go with your gut.